It's my pleasure to be here. So I think I'm supposed to introduce to you physics with a second major in quantum technologies. This is for a bachelor's program. So I wanted to poll how many of you are pre-university? Okay, a few of you. How many of you are undergrads actually? This could be for you as well. How many of you are in industry? Okay, excellent. I hope that there are enough good points for you to take away to advise your young interns that it is actually worth looking at a physics with a second major in quantum technologies, specifically at NTU. So I'm Teck Seng. I'm here because I'm the program director for this particular program. It has only started running for 3 years, and we have had a nice growth of about we started with 5 students, and now we have close to 20 out of an 80% cohort, and we expect further growth. So you have heard a lot about why quantum in Singapore, and this slide is probably not meant to inform you too much beyond what you have heard today, but I wanted to point out that out of the 4 strategic thrusts of Singapore's national quantum strategy, one of them is to basically elevate the Center for Quantum Technologies into a national hub, right? Of which NTU is one center, okay? And NTU is right there at the west side of Singapore. So we do have a Center for Quantum Technologies. It doesn't just exist in NUS. A-STAR and SMU, SUTD are also having this center, okay? And the other quadrant I wanted you to look at is the one on the bottom right. That's the latest National Quantum Scholarship Scheme. It's to develop a pipeline of 100 PhD and 100 master's level talents in the next 5 years, starting this year, to meet industry and research needs for deep tech. Okay, so I happen to have one very good student doing a master's with me on the NQSS. Singapore's quantum investment and strategy, if you position it along this chart of government investments, and if you look at, say, the one on top is surprisingly Japan. Okay, that's because I think China doesn't release too many figures. Okay, so, and then the US is also there, but I think US is more driven by private sector investment. And Singapore, for its small size, is right here. And I wanted to really say that complementing the National Quantum Strategy, the Monetary Authority of Singapore has a grant scheme for quantum and also AI. It offers 50% co-funding for manpower for companies establishing quantum or AI-related innovation functions. And I happen to know this also, not because it was in the news, but because another student, also a master's student, posted her thesis on finite key rate for QKD systems recently on LinkedIn. She got an offer. She's co-funded by MAS. Well, her company co-funds her. So she's a quantum engineer now. So against this backdrop of global investment, Singapore has a coherent strategy for building a whole ecosystem, starting from talent development to having these programs in universities such as mine, all the way to try to achieve this vision of a vibrant and productive ecosystem in quantum. These are just some of the locally grown startups. It doesn't count the ones you heard earlier, the MNCs and so on. So let me come to the main point. Why quantum in NTU physics? It is the first structured, dedicated undergraduate pathway in Singapore focused on quantum technology. And I can say that confidently. Okay, you don't have a similar program elsewhere in Singapore. And so this dedicated second major in quantum technologies is built, okay, to give students industry-ready quantum hardware and software skills. Okay, and because of this program, we actually curated and specially tailored or created new modules just to achieve this goal. Okay, so you will see the modules later. Okay, and there are actually lots of early research opportunities in our institution. I think the NTU undergrads here will be familiar. Okay, and especially for SPMS, where I'm from, School of Physical and Mathematical Sciences, we have an even earlier program in research that starts at the end of first year, between first and second year. Okay, we call that Odyssey program. Okay, if that's what you want to know. Okay, and as you saw from the speakers earlier and today's industry day, we actually have close partnerships with industry. Okay, so I hope this answers why quantum in NTU physics. And the second major is really focused on a set of core curriculum, okay, where we have some theory technology integration, okay, quantum hardware taught by one of our colleagues, Rainer Damke, who does quantum sensing as well as he's got superconducting qubits in his lab. So this is a picture where some students, and these are actually humanities students, visited his lab. That's the usual picture you see, the chandelier for the dilution fridge. I don't think his qubits are in there yet. And that's his student explaining the technologies to the visitors. Okay. There is also technological applications of quantum mechanics, some interdisciplinary training. I think Miller teaches the first course, Physics of Classical and Quantum Information. Okay, and then our math colleagues, so we insist that, because quantum theory is statistical theory, right? We insist that our PHQT, Physics with Quantum Tech students, also learn probability and intro to stats. Okay, and then of course there are the advanced quantum theory core modules, besides the quite, I would say, typical quantum 1 and 2, quantum mechanics 1 and 2. I teach open quantum systems. So that this year being the 100th year of United Nations, 100 years of in quantum science and technology, these modules offer a more updated look at quantum theory. You don't really want, as an undergrad or a high schooler coming in, to be learning quantum theory from 100 years ago, right? You want to be learning quantum theory from the last decade or last 2 decades. And this is what we try to achieve with updated core curricula like this. Okay, besides the core curricula, there are also elective concentrations. Okay, a concentration in quantum science and tech, quantum optics taught by one of our colleagues, David Wukowski, quantum information by our Nanyang assistant prof, Nelly Ng, the graduate QM, nanoscale physics, by a colleague, Ben Weber. Ben does the silicon qubits, so he dopes phosphorus atoms one by one into silicon, so really atomic level precision. We are currently also looking at revising this elective concentration on quantum machine learning and AI with the new faculty who is coming in, who are really quantum machine learning experts. And then some statistics, right? So statistics for stochastic processes and so on. Okay, so if this is too much information actually, but I hope that it impresses upon you that we are serious in updating our curriculum to really achieve the goal of a national talent pipeline development, okay, for quantum talent. Okay, so here are some of my colleagues at the Nanyang Quantum Hub. This is a complementary center with CQT. Some of us are involved in both CQT and Nanyang Quantum Hub. And Mila right here. Some of these pictures are taken from my colleagues' websites. I stole them. But mainly I wanted to impress upon you that actually undergrads are also very actively involved in research. Here's a recent paper that an undergrad, okay, it's a little bit small, an undergrad of mine published with me and a project officer in a nice journal, Quantum Information. And not too recently, Reiner published a paper with his group on entanglement with a tardigrade. So if you know what a tardigrade is, it's a small microscopic organism. It's a biological organism which he entangled with his superconducting qubit. Okay. So it caused a bit of controversy, but anyway, this is a tardigrade soft toy that he keeps in his lab. Okay, so why PHQT? Well, it matters, I think, for students because an expanding quantum industry requires a growing quantum workforce. And I think the demand globally is expected to outpace the supply of this workforce. Okay, and if you go through this PHQT program, I think I can very safely say that you would have an advantage in a PhD and master's programs in quantum. Okay, and the ecosystem, right? And I put several of these logos here. It's very quantum friendly now. Okay, and there's a nice quantum community in Singapore, especially for young quantum researchers. I just wanted to highlight this QYRA. Does anyone know what it stands for? Excellent, thanks. Quantum Young Researchers Association. They are very active, okay, and they have as well as technical gatherings. Okay, some other news headlines. This one I wanted to highlight financial services sectors because some of our banking colleagues are here to get up to 100 million in MAS grants. Okay, I think you know all these. Okay, but this is why PHQT, our program, matters for the pre-university student looking to make a choice. Okay, because you will be building the technology of tomorrow, and I hope you will join us at NTU Physics. If you are from industry, I hope you encourage your young interns, if they are pre-university, to take a good look at PHQT at NTU, because you enter a field that the government is actively building, and quantum tech jobs exist already. And I believe your quantum skill set, after going through the training, a very customized training at NTU Physics, will be in global demand. Okay, so if you are a young student, pre-university, I encourage you to take out your phones to scan this QR code, or just remember, right, there is a Bachelor of Science in Physics or Applied Physics with a second major in quantum technologies right here. Okay? Thank you.